ॐ ॐ यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तं देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय गुरवे शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादीनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने। सर्वतन्त्र स्वतन्त्राय सदात्माद्वैतवेदिने श्रीमते शङ्करार्याय वेदान्त गुरवे नमः। योऽवतीर्ण इहाचार्य रूपेण यतीनामुदे श्रीमद्नारायणं वन्दे तं हरिं करुणानिधिम्। मननाख्यं प्रकरणं वासुदेवयतीश्वरैः रचितं विस्तरेणाद्य संग्रहेण प्रकाश्यते। बालानाम् उपकाराय मम विज्ञानसिद्धये तत्र श्रीबालगोपाल कृष्णः सन्निहितो भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So now a question is raised, as it was said that the kartrutvam, the doership, does not belong to the self. So naturally the question is, then somewhere of the other, the doership needs to be placed. आप लोग नीचे बैठ जाओ शांति से, बैठो नीचे, बैठो बैठो, बोलो मत, बैठ जाओ, जहां जगह मिलती है बैठ जाओ। So somewhere of the other, the doership needs to be placed. And what was the reason that you are refusing to accept that the doership belongs to the self, to the Atma? So over there, it was said, on the balam, the strength of what? The Shastra. Here he says, Atma avikari, because the self is free from all the modifications. There is no modification which takes place in the Atma, in the self. Because there is no movement possible, nishkriya, and swagata bheda shunya means is devoid of any internal or uh, divisions, differences. Swagata bheda shunya. As a result, live without any parts, partless. Swagata bheda shunya, if I have to put it in simpler words, would mean is partless. And all these three conclusions about the Atma are based on the Shastra. Now, when you are going to verify the conclusions of the Shastra along with your experiences, even then you are going to discover the same thing, and that is that this Atma is free from all modifications, that I am, there is no movement in this I. So even if you are going to see the movement in time and space, the movement in time and space would mean that a person has grown in age. So then he says that I have become old, I have become weak, I have become strong, I have become healthy, so on and so forth. Whatever change that he is going to report, the question is Atma the witness of all these changes, transformations, and modifications, or is this Atma actually undergoing every modification? And so that what is undergoing the modifications is the body, the mind, the pranas. Where is the where do you find that the modification is in the Atma? And all this, whether it is the body, mind, or the pranas, or the intellect, etc., all of these is something that is illumined by me, and therefore I remain as the illuminator, whether they are there or they are not there, whether they are modifying when they are there or when they are absent. I remain as the illuminator of their presence, absence, and when they are present, of their all the modifications. And therefore, what do you find when you have now started thinking and discriminating? That you discover that the Shastra, when says Atma is free from the modifications, it means that it is true. All that you have to do is keep on doing this vimarsha, keep on verifying it again and again, till this conclusion becomes very clear to you, as clear as an apple on your palm. And therefore, Atma avikari nishkriyaha swagata bheda shunyaha. And therefore, now the conclusion is Tasmat Kartrutvam Atmanaha Kartrutvam Navaktum Shakyate. It is not possible to attribute the doership to the self. Na Shakyate. Since you are going to find activity and action, so now the question is, to whom are you going to call as the agent of all this activity? Till now, you were taking the credit, saying that aham karta, aham karomi, I am the doer, I am the doer, I have done, I will do, so on and so forth was your claim. And therefore, now you were saying that whatever was done, whatever is getting done, and whatever will happen, to all these, I am the agent of that action. But now you are going to discover that there is an action, but this Atma is not the agent, cannot be called as the agent of the action. Okay? So now the Purva Paksha, the opponent, is raising a question, an objection. Nanu kartrutvam cha atmanishtaya bhati karta cha anyon drishyate etat kathamiti chet. There are two things that, now with all the viveka that you have given to us, the knowledge that this Atma is not the Karta, Kartrutvam, because the Atma is bereft of all Kartrutvam. There is no Kartrutvam in this Atma. And so, now the question he is saying is that how is it possible to experience that I am the Karta if the Kartrutvam itself is not there in Atma? You understand? Look at this question. I will make it, make it more simpler for you. I'll simply make it simple. Yeah. Yeah. So now what happens is, we're lucky, there is some lights now. Yeah. So, nanu kartrutvam cha atmanishthataya bhati. Let us say there is a red rose. Now, our question is, why is this rose appearing red to you? And your answer is going to be, because there is redness in the rose. Since there is redness in the rose is going to be red for you. Similarly, doership has to be present. Where? In the Atma. Without the doership being present in the Atma, how can this Atma be experienced as the doer? And therefore, we are experiencing Atma as the doer, and therefore, what is the location of what is the locus of doership? Obviously, Atma. And therefore, the question is, Nanu kartrutvam katham atmataya bhati, atmanishtataya bhati. This kartrutvam is seen how? As if it is located in the self. Located means that it makes the Atma as Karta. Where is the redness? You're going to say it is in the rose. And therefore, how is the rose? Red. Similarly, Kartrutvam is there in the Atma, and therefore Atma is going to be Karta. Without which, how can we experience Atma as Karta? Shruti may say that Atma is avikari, nishkriya, and swagata bheda shunyaha. Shruti may say, even you are able to substantiate it with a powerful logic. Yet, question is, then whatever the Shruti may have said, and no matter how well you are able to substantiate it with logic, yet you cannot deny the experience that I am discovering aham karta iti. Are you able to see this problem? This is the problem. How then is it possible? Another thing is, karta cha anyona drishyate. And when you are going to say, well, Atma is not the agent of the action, the body-mind complex is the agent, because that is what is. But how? This body-mind complex also, by all the virtue that you are presenting, this body-mind complex is achetanam, is achetanam, jadam. Then to anything that is jadam, you do not attribute kartrutva. Do you? Now let us say, this fan is rotating on my head. Good, it is not falling on my head. It is rotating. Okay. And then you do not say, like, that when the kartrutvam is there and the action is performed, along with that action, what comes? Some adrishta phalam. Correct? Papa and punya is associated with it. Some papa and punya is associated with it. Now, over here, on a hot summer day, summer evening, this fan is moving around and sending some breeze. So will it get some punya? Will it get some punya? This mic is able to perform well. This camera is doing its function well. So will all these people, will all these instruments ever get punya? No punya for that. Why? Because though there is activity in the jada, activity will always be in the jada. A. Though there is activity in the jada, you do not say, nobody, even a small child of 5 years, is going to say that this Jadavastu has kartritvam. This Jadavastu has any kartritvam. It will totally be denied. And therefore, other than this Atma, where are you going to place the kartritvam? Karta cha anyona drishyate. Thus, there are these two powerful arguments. You understand? More powerful is going to be your Purva Paksha. Stronger is going to be your Siddhanta. Therefore, this is our thing, that you are not afraid of the questions and doubts, because stronger is the doubt, better is going to be the Siddhanta. And therefore, now when it comes that where is this kartrutvam, how is it possible then even to experience aham karta if this atma did not have kartrutvam? This is the first part. And even if you are going to say atma does not have kartrutvam, then where is any other karta you show? These are the two questions. Nadrishyate. Now, this is your experience. Now, this experience needs to be coherently aligned. You see this? Unless and because you cannot be, incongruent to your experience. You are experiencing something as red, and then you are going to call it as green. You cannot be doing that, because you will never be, what do they call it? Pakshapati that way. You will never deceive yourself when it comes to pramana. I'll tell you something very interesting. There is a rose in front of you, and then some Chaturmukh Brahma arrives. You are very punyavan, so some Chaturmukh Brahma comes in front of you and says, Are, look at this. Oh, he says, oh yeah, Maharaj, this is the flower, let me put it on your head or feet, wherever. Okay. And Brahma says, hey, this is not a flower, it is a coconut. Will you accept it? So he says, no, sir, Brahmaji. In your Brahmalok, you may be calling it coconut. In our Martyalok, we still call it rose. So you see that you will not accept any other authority when it comes to your experience. And then if that experience is something that is generated by the pramanam, then there is no power in this universe, there is no authority in this universe that can ever deny it, falsify it. Just because there is Chaturmukh Brahma standing, are you going to say, oh, well, sir, since you say this is called as coconut, I will make some chutney and feed you? With idli. You're going to do that? No, you won't do that. So now your experience is something that is undeniable. What is your experience at this moment? Aham karta, मैं करता हूं, यही तुम्हारा अनुभव है. और शास्त्र कहता है कि यह आत्मा कर्ता नहीं है. आत्मा में कर्तृत्व ही नहीं है, तो कर्ता बनेगा कैसे? So now there is this tug of war. Shastram, now look at this. Therefore, what do you need? faith in the Shastra as pramanam. Faith in the Shastram as pramanam. That is all that you require. That is all the faith that we want. You don't have to go any further with this faith business. Okay? So this faith over here, that you accept that this is, the Shastra is the pramanam, that is what makes you an astika. Astika does not mean the one who believes in God. Astika does not mean one who believes in God. Huh? But that Shastra is the pramanam. This buddhi is called as the astikya buddhi. Remember this. When it comes to our proper darshan shastra, this is the categorization. This is how it is seen. Now, in Indian schools of philosophy, darshan shastra, we have the 4 Buddhist schools, Jaina, and the Charvaka school. All of them are called as Nastika schools. Now, interestingly, all these Nastika schools have one thing in common, and two things in common. The first thing is that none of them accept Shastra. Veda is the pramanam. What do you mean by pramanam? Pramanam simply means a valid instrument of knowledge. Every word of mine that I'm telling you now, please pay attention to it. This is what I'm giving to you distilled. Otherwise, you are going to say, Swamiji, you have drifted away from the topic. No, this is not drifting away. This is important, and that's why I want to bring it to you. Because everything that we are doing over here in Laghuvasudeva Mananam is the foundation for us to move ahead in the advanced texts of Vedanta. And unless and until these things are clear to you, you are going to say, no, this is what Vedanta says, this is what this says, and this is what that says. This is not somebody's opinion, sir. It is not an opinion, it is something that comes through the pramanam. And that what comes through a pramanam is not something which is opinion. Now let us assume that you have perfect vision 6 by 6 and you do not have any defect of color blindness or anything. Then you look at a red rose and call it a red rose. Is this your opinion or is this your knowledge? Is this your opinion or is this your knowledge? I mean, transactional knowledge, okay? No, please don't go over there. Oh no, red color is not there in the rose, and that's why, you know, all other things are absorbed and only the red light is reflected by the rose. Please, for heaven's sake. On a transactional basis, what do you call as a red rose? In the Vyavaharik Bhumika, what is it that you call as a red rose? Isn't it? So therefore, let us keep it that way. So this is a red rose. Is that your opinion? Is that your belief? Is that your conviction? Or is that your knowledge? You see the clear division. It is not your belief. Oh, I believe, you know, like somebody believes that there is one God sitting up in the heaven and there is yet another power somewhere else. That is belief. That is your belief. And when it comes to belief, you are free whether to believe, whether to accept or not to accept and reject. In case of belief, you're free to do that. But in case of knowledge, you don't have a choice whether it is to be accepted or not to be accepted. Knowledge means that if you are going to see a red rose, you do not have a choice. Oh, well, I don't like red, I'm going to see it yellow. Can you do that? Knowledge does not leave you that way. So therefore, now you have something as knowledge. And knowledge means that it has come through an appropriate instrument of knowing. And in this case, we have the Chakshurindriya. When you are going to call red rose, that it is a rose and it is red in color. This knowledge is generated by your Chakshurindriya, which means the faculty of vision. That has given you this knowledge. So, say suppose if I had used my ears, auditory faculty, and somebody told me, you know, Swamiji, there is a rose in front of you and it is red in color. So the knowledge is generated in me that the object in front of me is a rose and it is red. Now, there are two things happening. In first case, the knowledge that this is a red rose was generated by the eyes. And in the second case, that knowledge is generated by your auditory canals, auditory faculty. Got it? Now, in the second case, you may still have a doubt. Well, this person next to me, he could be my father, he could be my friend or my brother, and he told me that this is a red rose. Yet I may say that who knows, my eyes are closed, so also there may be dim light in front of me, and therefore even my father must not have seen it properly. It could be not red, but it could be some blue in color or some other color, magenta color or whatever. Right? So there is a possibility of a doubt in it. So therefore, if the knowledge is generated by an appropriate and defectless instrument of knowing, it has to be respected. It becomes your experience, and that experience is something which is undeniable, irrefutable. So at this point, just look at this. Look at this. That you, in case of belief, is there a possibility that a doubt can be raised or not? Well, who knows? There is some God somewhere, but I can still have a doubt. I can still have a doubt. And why can you have a doubt? Because this knowledge is not something that is generated by the appropriate instrument of knowing. Also, if the instrument was defective, you still would have had the knowledge which can be doubted. Therefore, that could become a doubtful knowledge. In fact, doubtful knowledge is not knowledge. It is a doubt only. Like erroneous knowledge is not knowledge. Erroneous knowledge is an error. Like that, in the similar way, even doubtful knowledge is also not knowledge. When will it be called as knowledge? When it is generated by a proper instrument, appropriate instrument. And when it comes to knowing what is the nature of Paramatma, other than Shastra, there is no other instrument that we have. Other than the Shastra, you have got no instrument of knowing. Oh, no. We will meditate and find out what is the nature of God. My question to you is, even if you decide to meditate and find out the nature of God, who is it and how did you know that by meditation only I will find out what is the nature? What has allowed you even to know that meditation possesses this power? That you see, meditation has got this power and can become an instrument of knowing. So some whims and fancies cannot be a replacement to knowledge. So now over here, the Shastra had told you the Pramanam, this knowledge has come through the Shastra Pramanam, A, that This Atma is avikari, nishkriyaha, and swagata bheda shunyaha, partless. Swagata bheda shunya means partless. In order for any action, any movement to occur, you require that locus of action to have all these things, or at least one of these. That it should be modifying, subject to modification, then it also should be subject to movement, and then it has to be part with parts. Only when these three conditions are fulfilled, now that locus can be said as to be having what? Kriya, and then karma. Then you can say if there is kartrutvam over there. Atma is bereft of all this. But at the same time, you have an experience. What is that experience? That I discovered and I'm experiencing the kartrutvam in Atma. And that is the reason why I am saying aham karta, aham karta, aham karta. This is not something we are not giving, I'm not giving a discourse. Oh, don't have any vanity, don't have any ego, don't have any ahankar, everything is done by God. No, not some sort of consolation that we are trying to gather over here. Over here, the whole thing is to understand that what you are calling as Atma is God. That what you are calling this aham, aham, aham is actually Paramatma, is Brahmavastu. And this Brahma does not is free from all kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam, and all these things. Uh, that is what we are trying to understand over here. This is what we have to understand. And therefore, now let us say we understand the rope is not the snake. The rope is not the snake, and also there is no snake where the rope is. But you cannot deny that a moment before I have seen the snake, I have experienced the snake. Then now what will be your question is, how did, since that the rope is not the snake, and since there is no other snake over there other than the rope, then where did this snake come from? How did I experience the snake over here? How did I experience? What is it? This is the question. And now, therefore, now you have to understand. This is called, this is giving an explanation, which means it is the missing link. Once when you understand that there is how the snake appeared to you in spite of it being absent over there, now you understand that, well, whatever that snake was never ever there. So also now you are saying that how did I experience, or how am I experiencing Kartrutvam? If this is understood, now even though there is Kartrutvam which is seen, it will not be, it will get Badhitam. Now let us say, let's understand this, that the space does not have any color. The space is free of color. This is your knowledge. There is no Rupa and Ranga in the space. If the space was to have this blue color, now there is space between my two fingers, then that also should be blue. I should be able to see blue over here between these two fingers too. Where is it? So we understand that space does not have any. Then you are going to question your experience that if the space is free from any color and form, How am I seeing this blue color in the sky up above? And this is answered by telling, well, because the blue color is attributed by you to the space is only because the light that filters through that atmosphere of the air is able to show you this blue color because of the composition of gases that is there around the earth. Correct? If you go on Mars and look at the sky, it is going to appear red because the composition of gases over there is different. And that's why. So now once when you understand that the blue color that is appearing is not because the sky is blue, not because the space is blue, or not because the space is red from the Mars, but because of some condition. And that what appears because of condition cannot be called as the reality. It is conditional. You understand? Why? Because if that condition is removed, now it is no longer going to appear as it is. This is the thing which we need to understand. And this is said here. Atmani pratiyamanam kartritvam adhyasat. This kartritvam which is seen in the Atma, the doership which is seen in the self, how is it? Due to superimposition. If for your convenience sake at this moment, I'm going to use the word, it is an appearance. Okay? It is an appearance. Kartritvam adhyasat natu swabhavataha. It is not the nature of Atma. Iti vijani. Know this very, very clearly. Vijani. Swamiji Vijani, it is said, where is it said very, very clearly? That V upasarga allows you to have this meaning to the word. Otherwise, Janihi. Vijanihi, know this very clearly. And when knowledge is free from doubts and any, what do they call, contradictions, that knowledge itself is called as experience. There is nothing called as experience apart from the knowledge. And therefore, what you require over here is not experience of Atma. Oh, Swamiji, we should experience Atma. Arey, that is always there. Oh, we want to experience Paramatma then. Oh, it is always there. All that you require is to remove the doubts. And that knowledge itself is called as an experience. There is no greater news than this to anyone, I believe. That all that you, so there are people, hey, you want knowledge of God or you want experience of God. Now, this foolish man does not know what he's talking. What do you mean? What is the difference between knowledge and experience? Ask him. What is the difference between knowledge and experience? Can you call some experience without an experience without knowing? Now let us say, now there is this small, what do they call it? Battery in my hand. It is my experience that this is a battery. I'm holding a cell in my hand. It is totally gone. That's why I can hold it. Okay. So there is this battery in my hand. This is my experience. Now, am I experiencing it without knowing? So if I'm knowing, which means it is knowledge. So every experience is basically knowledge. And how are you going to say that we don't want knowledge, we want only experience? Because the basic material is knowledge. And what is the difference is that knowledge which is fresh, which has got the possibility of doubt, etc., in its womb, that knowledge is not an experience. That knowledge where there is no doubt and contradiction, no samshaya and viparyaya, that knowledge is called as experience. And that's why you don't have to search for experience of God. All that you require is simply knowledge and setting this knowledge free from all samshaya and viparyaya. Don't go for experience of God, chasing some strange experiences. And after, that's why don't go. All that you require is just clarity. And this clarity itself is then your experience. That's why now all that you vijani. So what is there for one to know very clearly? Atmani pratiyamanam kartritvam. So this kartritvam is seen, pratiyaman. Atmani, what is seen in Atma? Kartritvam. So this pratiyamanam kartritvam, how is it? Adhyasa. It comes from superimposition only as an appearance. Natu swabhavataha, by it is not the nature of the self. This is what has to be known. I'm going to stop over here this evening because there are some people who have just arrived and they have come, and then I'll proceed. So this is what we had to see. Atmani pratiyamanam kartritvam adhyasat natu swabhavataha. Remember this. And remember in the sense what? What we have to do with it? Bijani. Know it. Know means how? Clearly. Clearly. Okay? This clear knowing is experience. Nothing else. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Padarayanam Sutrabhashakatau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine
व्योमवद्व्योक्तदेहाय
Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har.
Mahadev.
Thank you, friends. Thank you all.